So Pete, in your experience, what are some of the common misconceptions that people may have when it comes to investing for retirement?
The biggest misconception I see is that people think when they retire, their assets are going to do nothing but go down. And they're worried about the volatility of the stock market and everything that can go wrong. And they don't really think about the long-term investing and being able to take an income stream from their investments while they're still growing. And that still means that you have to invest differently. You need to invest in a way that has maybe less volatility than what you were open to or accepting while you were accumulating assets, but you're still going to be growing your assets. And in fact, especially in the early first half, third of your retirement, I would fully expect that you're going to be growing your assets. And I think that's the biggest misconception is people need to completely change and put everything in the mattress and just hope that they don't run out before they do.
For sure. So I totally agree with that. I think that is something that a lot of people deal with, and I'm not close to retirement myself, but and in our conversations, it's something that I was wondering about. So the fact that people do assume that they're depleting their retirement fund and not actually growing it, can you elaborate on why they might actually think that? I mean, I know that the perception of retirement is you save and save and save and save. Here's my money. Let's spend it. So what goes into that?
Well, the biggest thing you hear is that people will say, I don't have long term anymore. And that's really, if you're 65, there's a really good chance you're going to live till you're 95. So I'm pretty sure that 30 years still qualifies as long term. So you still need to be a long term investor. So that's part of it, is they just feel they can't afford to have a negative fluctuation in an investment in the same way that they've experienced up to that point in time. And the main reason that you invest that way is that it gives you more upside potential return. We say long-term investments, you have more risk perhaps, but a greater potential return. And that's why I think people have that perception, is they believe that, they can't afford to go down because they're withdrawing money and it's already going down. Well, it will go down some years, but it will go up more than you withdraw in other years, and it will work out in the long run, provided that you manage that risk in a little bit more prudent of a way than you had been up to that point in time. That's, I think, the big misconception, is they just believe that they're, those assets are going to be doing nothing but going down. And I hear that all the time. They'll say, I just don't have long term anymore. And, when you're 80, if you're living till you're 95, you still got 15 years. And then at that point, if you're 80 and you're thinking about who's going to inherit your money, well, they're going to inherit that money and live on for, however long there. So the long term never fully goes away. And I think that's something that people need to get comfortable around. And I'll throw in one more thing on that. Is in particular right now, with inflation where it is, if you don't invest in stocks to some extent, you're going to have a really hard time growing your assets relative to inflation. So if you put the money in the mattress, if you become really safe and you just withdraw and watch your asset base go down, not only are you withdrawing and shrinking your asset base, because of inflation, doesn't go as far. It's not worth as much. So you need to have those investments that are not only providing you an income, you need an income to be growing, to be sustaining, because prices are only going to go up. Things are going to cost more when you're 95 than they do when you're 65. It's just going to happen. If you like what you heard on this video and you'd like to have a personal conversation more about your situation, check us out at gootfinancial.com and sign up for a conversation, and we're happy to see how we can help.